Thank you very much. Thank you. And hello.
One is the loneliest number. One is the loneliest number. One is the loneliest number that you ever do. Oh, I can't sing. But I love Three Dog Night, and I love the song One. I also love the Beatles album One because that was my last video, folks. Did you see it? Where I talked about that gem of an album, the Beatles One. 32 million sold since 2000, 25th anniversary this year. Well, here we go again, because it's here. The Beatles 2 is here. Well, it's here. It's not officially released or anything, but it should be. That's what I say, it should be. And so do many other great Beatles fans out there, like my friend Rich Wink 55. He gave me another idea. He said, Matt, work on a Beatles 2 video. I said, Rich, thank you, sir. Thank you. I am going to do it. So, folks, here's what I've done. Now, the Beatles 1 album had 27 smash #1 hit songs. There were approximately 8 from the 62 to 64 period. There was about 8 or so from the 65 to 66 period. There was about 5 or so from the 67 to 68 period, and 6 from 69 to 70, for a grand total of 27 #1 smash hits. The Beatles 1. We love it. Ringo only got one vocal, one song on Beatles 1, and George got one. Ringo, obviously, Yellow Submarine, George, something. For my Beatles 2 album configuration, here's what I've done, folks. I have taken US singles, UK singles, European singles, and plus some non-single tracks, deep cuts. But all tracks on Beatles 2 cannot have appeared on Beatles 1. They cannot have appeared on Beatles Red album. They cannot have appeared on the Beatles Blue album or 20 Greatest Hits or any of that. They have to be totally off those albums. But the Beatles are such strong songwriters, musicians, and talents that it's easy to make a Beatles 2 album. Now, when I say Beatles 2, that Beatles 2 means it's just the second album of great Beatles tracks. Obviously, the What album, the whole theme of it was #1s, 27 #1s. Well, there isn't 27 #2s for the Beatles. I mean, so what I did is I said, I got to take, different singles, B-sides, stuff that didn't quite make #1, some deep cuts from their albums, some cool European singles only, UK singles, like I said, US singles, B-sides, whatnot. But it's a Beatles 2 album. I think the 27 tracks on my album are just as great as anything on Beatles 1. Just my opinion. You give me yours. What do you think should be on Beatles 2? Are we matching? Are we close? Did you think I came near your list? Let's see. Let me know. How many do we match or not match on? Okay, so what I've done is, for Beatles 2, I've stuck with the 27-song format, like on Beatles 1. I just stuck with it. That was my limit. If I had to cut songs off, if I had 28, I cut off 1. If I had 29, I cut off 2. So I came up with 27, and this is approximate now, but from what I can remember putting my album together, Beatles 2, I have 9 songs from the 62 to 64 period. I have 7 songs from the 65 to 66 period, approximate. I have 8 songs from 67 to 68, and I have 3 from 69 to 70. Now, in this one, Ringo still stays with 1 track for Ringo, but George, we upped the ante a little bit. Instead of 1, George now has 3 lead vocals, tracks on Beatles 2. That's what I came up with, okay, to keep it similar to what Beatles 1 represented. Okay, now they're going to be in order of, year approximately and release approximately, give or take, but they're all pretty much running from 62 right up to 70, 27 tracks. Here we go. Let me know what you think. So, Beatles 2 kicks off with the great Ask Me Why. Beautiful track. You got multi-vocals on here from Paul, from John. George is in there a little bit. I just think this is a great way to kick off Beatles 2. Ask Me Why. Track 2, There's a Place. Yep, one of my favorite early Beatle tracks from Please Please Me album or from Introducing the Beatles. I love it. It's great. It needed to be here. Track 3 is George Harrison's first entry with Don't Bother Me. Yep, I think it's worthy, and it needs to be here. One of the best George Harrison songs, in my humble opinion. Track 4, Thank You Girl. Great song. Just the Beatles singing, the playing, the hooks in it, the melodic nature of Thank You Girl. You got to have it. And the harmonica, it's just, you got to have it. Track 5 is the great, never talked about enough, I Call Your Name. Oh my goodness, that has to be on Beatles 2. I Call Your Name. John vocal, just guttural from the heart. Love it. Track 6, Paul McCartney lead vocal with Things We Said Today. Yes, folks, this song could have been a single, should have been a single, would have been a smash, top 10 in my opinion. Things We Said Today, track 6. Track 7, I Should Have Known Better. Yep. That harmonica, everything about it, George's little simple lead guitar is perfect. The solo, it has to be on here. Track number 8 is The Forgotten on the Red album, and The Forgotten in a lot of other places, She's a Woman. Yes, track 8, She's a Woman, Paul McCartney, great vocal. Excuse me. Track 9, Tell Me Why. Oh, all 3 Beatles singing on it. That one little part in the song where they hit that high falsetto. You got to have it on here. Tell Me Why is classic. Track 10, I'm Down. Paul McCartney, guttural lead vocal, the great lead guitar and the licks and the fills and Paul screaming at the end. It's just one of the greatest Beatles early rockers, in my opinion. I'm Down. And then we go to the great John Lennon, track 11, It's Only Love. Yep, has to be on here. From the UK Help album, from the US Rubber Soul, it has to be on Beatles 2, It's Only Love. Track 12, back to George Harrison and his second entry with I Need You. Yes, has to be on Beatles 2 because it's a classic. It could definitely have been a song that could have reached number 2 on the charts if it was a single. Track number 13, we're going a little bit back a little bit because this came out a little before I Need You, blah, 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 and all that stuff. But just I thought it fit well in the sequencing here. After I Need You, we're going to go to track 13, I'll Follow the Sun. Beautiful Paul McCartney lead vocal with harmonizing from the other Beatles. It's just a beautiful track. Track 14, Another Girl from Help. Yes. One of my favorite tracks on Help. It's got to be in my top 2 or 3 on the Help album. I just love Another Girl, always have, always will. It's going to be on my Beatles 2 album. Track 15, And Your Bird Can Sing. Yes, love it. One of my favorite Beatles songs of all time. It's probably in my top 10, I'm guessing. Had to be on my Beatles 2. And then, track 16, The Forgotten. Should have been on the Red album. Rain, John Lennon, one of the greatest Beatles songs of all time, one of the greatest drumming, one of the greatest drum tracks by Ringo Starr ever on a Beatles album, a Beatles song, Rain. If it wasn't on the Red album, needs to be here, Beatles 2. Number 17 is Getting Better. Paul McCartney track, but I love it. I love that part. Oh, by John, couldn't get much worse. You know, that kind of thing. I just love that. Unbelievable. And track 18, and also Getting Better. Paul has played on tour over the years, so it would fit into a Beatles 2 album because a lot of people would be familiar with it. And the same with the next one because Paul has played it over the years. Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite will be track 18 on my Beatles 2. Again, a great song, John Lennon. Paul has played it. It's familiar. Got to be here. Track 19, Fixing a Hole. Yes, needs to be on my Beatles too. One of my favorite tracks from Sgt. Pepper needs to be here. Track 20 is the underrated, in my opinion. I just think more people need to get into this song, is Baby You're a Rich Man. Track 20 on my Beatles too. Gotta be here. It's a great, great song. A very underrated Beatles song, in my humble opinion. Track 21, George Harrison with his Opus. Another underrated Beatles songs, in my opinion, with the general public. It's All Too Much. Track 21 on my Beatles too. George finishes out his third track on the album near the end with one of the greatest Beatles psychedelic rock and rollers ever. Love it. Great. Track 22, now we tender it down a little bit. We slow it down for the great John Lennon's Julia from the White Album. Track 22 on Beatles 2. Fits so well here after that opus of It's All Too Much, and come right down with Julia. Perfect. But then we pick it back up again with track 23, Birthday. Bang! Comes right out of the gate. Birthday. Gotta do it. And now track 24, Ringo gets his showing like he did on the Beatles 1 album with Yellow Submarine. Ringo gets Don't Pass Me By. It was a toss-up for me with Ringo. I was either going to go with Don't Pass Me By from the White Album or his other great one from the White Album, which was Good Night. But I don't know. I thought Good Night was a little too pastoral, a little too la-di-da, so to speak. I don't know. Maybe you would put Good Night as Ringo's track. But I went with Don't Pass Me By. Track 24 on Beatles 2. Ringo gets a showing there. And Ringo had a hand in writing it, so why not? Getting down to the final 3 on my Beatles 2. Track 25, I've Got a Feeling from Let It Be. Gotta be here. Has to be here. Paul has been doing it in concert lately with John singing with him, so it's familiar to people. Yes, I've Got a Feeling has to be on Beatles 2, in my opinion. See what you think. Final 2. Track 26, John and Paul coming together in harmony one final time, or near the end of their time together. 2 of Us. Yep, track 26 on Beatles 2 has to be 2 of Us. And we're finishing it up with track 27, going right back to the beginning, but modernized, brought up to 1970 when it was released, but 69 when it was recorded. One after 909, the Let It Be version. Track 27 on Beatles 2. Well, what do you think, folks? Beatles 2? That's my opinion. That's what I think a cool Beatles 2 could look like. And you know what? I think it would sell hotcakes. You know, with the blue and gold design, blue and yellow design, opposing the red and gold design from Beatles 1, Beatles 2. Put those 27 tracks out on that with a nice double album, CD, whatever. What do you think? You think it would do well? I do. Maybe I'm going to go create a track list right now, a playlist on Spotify, Beatles 2. I'm going to make my album right now. Maybe I'll share it with the public and you can come check it out. See what you think. Love you all. Thanks, Rich. Bye-bye.
I got blisters on my fingers!